2:37 p.m. Tuesday, 5th Street and Madison Avenue. Diesel saw it happen. A police officer kicked a 72-year-old homeless man. Not a nudge, a vicious kick that sent the old man sprawling onto the concrete. The homeless man wore a faded 101st Airborne military patch on his jacket. His cardboard sign read, "Homeless vet. Anything helps. God bless." Diesel pulled out his phone and hit record. "Hey, stop!" Diesel shouted from his motorcycle. "What are you doing?" Officer Bradley Mitchell turned, his face flushed with anger. "This doesn't concern you. Move along. That man's a veteran. You just assaulted him." The homeless man was trying to stand up, clutching his ribs, coughing. Officer Mitchell grabbed his arm and yanked him upward. The old man cried out in pain. Diesel got off his bike, phone still recording. "You need to stop. Right now." "Put that phone away," Mitchell ordered, his hand moving toward his weapon. "No, sir. You're assaulting an elderly veteran. I'm documenting it." "You're interfering with a police officer. That's a crime. Recording police in public is legal. Beating old men isn't." Officer Mitchell's face contorted with rage. He grabbed the homeless man and shoved him hard against a brick wall. The veteran's head hit with a sickening crack. He slumped to the ground, dazed, blood trickling from his scalp. "Stop! You're going to kill him!" "Final warning. Put the phone down and leave, or you're under arrest." "Then arrest me. But I'm not stopping this recording." Officer Mitchell called for backup. Within 3 minutes, 2 more patrol cars arrived. Officers Harper and Rodriguez assessed the situation. Their colleagues standing over a bleeding homeless man, a biker filming everything. The homeless man was barely conscious, blood pooling beneath his head. Officer Harper knelt beside him. "Sir, are you okay, sir?" "He needs an ambulance," Diesel said. "Call it in," Harper told Rodriguez. Then he turned to Mitchell. "Brad, what happened here?" "Vagrant was panhandling, refused to leave. I used necessary force." "Necessary force." Diesel's voice was steel. "He's 70 years old. You kicked him, then smashed his head against a wall. That's all on video." Officer Harper looked at Diesel, at the phone, at the bleeding veteran, at his fellow officer. Diesel could see the internal struggle, loyalty to a fellow cop versus what was obviously wrong. "Sir, I need you to stop recording and hand over your phone," Harper said quietly. "No." "Then you're under arrest." Diesel made a choice that would cost him his freedom. "Do what you have to do, but this video is already uploaded to the cloud. You can arrest me, you can take my phone, but the truth is already out there." He was lying. The video was still on his phone, but he needed them to believe it was too late. Officer Harper cuffed Diesel and confiscated his phone. The ambulance loaded the unconscious veteran, Robert Hayes, age 72, Marine Corps, Vietnam, onto a stretcher. Diesel was pushed into the back of a patrol car. At the police station, Diesel was charged with interfering with a police officer and disorderly conduct. His phone was confiscated as evidence. He was allowed 1 phone call. He called Tank, the club's vice president. "I'm in jail, 5th Street Station. They arrested me for filming a cop beating a homeless vet. I need the video retrieved from my phone and posted everywhere, and I need a lawyer. Now." "On it," Tank said. "We're coming." While Diesel sat in a holding cell, Tank made calls that would change everything. Tank called Snake, the club's tech expert. "Diesel's phone is in evidence. Remote access it and pull the video." "Already on it," Snake said. "Give me 5 minutes." 5 minutes later, the 37-second video was downloading, Officer Mitchell kicking Robert Hayes, the head smashed against the wall. The blood. Everything. Snake uploaded it to 17 platforms with identical captions. Officer Bradley Mitchell, badge 847, beat a 72-year-old homeless Marine veteran for panhandling. When a citizen filmed it, he was arrested. This is what protect and serve looks like. Justice for Robert. Then Tank made calls. To every Iron Riders chapter within 200 miles. To other clubs, bandidos, Mongols, outlaws, Hell's Angels. Clubs that normally kept distance from each other. A veteran was beaten by a cop. One of our brothers was arrested for documenting it. We're mobilizing. 5th Street Station. Tomorrow morning. Everyone who can ride, rides. The responses came fast. We're coming. Count us in. For the veteran. By midnight, the video had 2 million views. By morning, it had 20 million. News outlets picked it up. Veterans groups shared it with outrage. The hashtag Shabash Justice for Robert trended nationally. By 6 a.m., protests started outside 5th Street Station. Not just bikers, regular citizens, veterans in dress uniforms, elderly people who remembered when police were supposed to protect, not brutalize. At 9 a.m., the rumble began. 147 motorcycles rolled down Madison Avenue toward 5th Street Station. Iron Riders, Bandidos, Vietnam Vets Motorcycle Club, Rolling Thunder. Clubs that had never ridden together, united by one cause. They formed a circle around the police station. Not blocking entrances, not threatening, just present. A wall of leather, chrome, and American flags. Silent. Watching. Inside, Police Chief William Garrett watched the security monitors and felt his career crumbling. The video was everywhere. The mayor had called. The city council was demanding answers, and 150 bikers had surrounded his station. He called Officer Mitchell into his office. Brad, what happened? A vagrant was panhandling. I removed him. A biker interfered. You beat a 72-year-old veteran so badly he's in the ICU with a skull fracture. It's on video. Millions have seen it. I was doing my job. Your job isn't to assault elderly veterans. You're suspended. Turn in your badge and weapon. But the bikers weren't satisfied with suspension. They wanted justice, and they weren't leaving until they got it. Diesel was released at 11:47 a.m. when Maria Santos, a lawyer specializing in police misconduct, got his charges dropped. You were exercising your First Amendment right, she explained. The charges against you are dismissed. What about Robert Hayes? ICU at St. Catherine's Hospital. Skull fracture, 3 broken ribs, internal bleeding, stable but critical. And the cop? Suspended. But we're pushing for criminal charges, assault and battery, abuse of authority. When Diesel walked out of the police station, what he saw brought tears to his eyes. 300 motorcycles, maybe more. And behind them, thousands of people holding signs. Protect veterans, not police brutality. Robert Hayes deserves justice. We're watching. The bikers erupted in cheers. Engines revved. Tank pulled Diesel into a crushing hug. Robert Hayes is in ICU, Diesel told the crowd. We've got guards at his hospital room. A news reporter pushed forward. Mr. Coleman, what happened? Diesel looked at the cameras, at the crowd, at the police station. This was his moment. Yesterday, I witnessed a police officer brutally assault a 72-year-old homeless veteran named Robert Hayes. When I tried to document it, I was arrested. That veteran is now fighting for his life because he committed the crime of being poor and asking for help. He paused. Officer Bradley Mitchell thought he was above the law. He was wrong. Because every person here, these bikers, these veterans, these citizens, we're all watching now. We're all recording. We're all demanding accountability. What do you want? The reporter asked. I want Officer Mitchell prosecuted. I want Robert Hayes to get the care he deserves. And I want systemic change so this never happens again. Now, before I continue with what happened next, I want to ask you something. Put yourself in Diesel's position. You see an elderly veteran being beaten by someone who's supposed to protect citizens. Do you pull out your phone and record, knowing you might get arrested? Or do you look away and keep writing? Drop your answer in the comments. What would you do? The pressure was mounting. The DA announced that Officer Bradley Mitchell would be charged with aggravated assault and official misconduct. Bail was set at $100,000. He posted it within hours. Released on bail, Mitchell should have stayed quiet. Instead, he went to a bar, got drunk, started talking. That old bastard deserved what he got, he told the bartender, loud enough for others to hear. Worthless veteran living on the street like an animal. What Mitchell didn't know was that Snake was there wearing a hidden camera. Tank was recording audio on his phone. Mitchell kept talking about how homeless people were human garbage, about how he'd taught plenty of them lessons over the years. The recordings were given to the DA the next morning. At Mitchell's arraignment, the prosecutor played them for the judge. The judge revoked his bail. Mr. Mitchell, you are a danger to the community. You will remain in custody until trial. Mitchell was let out in handcuffs, his face pale. But something else was happening. Something that would prove more important than any arrest. Robert Hayes regained consciousness 4 days after the assault. When he woke, he found himself in a private hospital room surrounded by flowers and cards. A huge man with a silver beard sat beside his bed. Welcome back, Diesel said gently. Who are you? Robert's voice was weak. Name's Diesel. I filmed what happened to you. The Iron Riders MC is covering your medical bills. I can't pay you back. Not asking you to. You served your country. You fought for us. Now we're fighting for you. Tears rolled down Robert's face. I've been on the streets for 5 years. Nobody sees us. We're invisible. You're not invisible anymore, Robert. The whole country knows your name, and we're making sure you never sleep on the streets again. Over 2 weeks, the Iron Riders, with donations from thousands who'd seen the video, set Robert up in a small apartment, furnished it, stocked it with food, connected him with VA services he couldn't access while homeless, got him into therapy for PTSD. A GoFundMe raised $247,000 for his recovery. The veteran beaten for being invisible became a symbol of society's failure to care for those who'd sacrificed. 3 months later, Officer Mitchell's trial began. The prosecution presented the video, now viewed over 50 million times. The bar recordings, testimony from EMTs, evidence of Mitchell's 7 previous excessive force complaints that had been dismissed. Then came the moment that changed everything. Robert Hayes took the stand. His voice shook, but his words were clear. I served in Vietnam, 3 tours. I came home and nobody cared. I lost my job, lost my home, lost myself in alcohol and pain. The courtroom was silent. But I never lost my dignity, until Officer Mitchell took it from me that day. Robert looked directly at Mitchell. I'm not asking for revenge. I'm asking that no other veteran ever feels as worthless as I did on that sidewalk. Even the judge had tears in his eyes. But then came something unexpected. Officer Harper, who had arrested Diesel that day, asked to testify for the prosecution. He took the stand, still in uniform. "I arrested Mr. Coleman for filming. I took his phone. I followed orders from a fellow officer." Harper's voice was steady but filled with regret. "But I couldn't sleep that night, or the next, because I knew what I'd witnessed was wrong." The courtroom leaned forward. "I became a cop to protect people. What Officer Mitchell did to Mr. Hayes, that's not what we're supposed to be. When I saw that video online, when I saw the whole thing, I called the DA myself. I provided testimony. I had to choose loyalty to my badge or loyalty to what's right." Harper looked at Diesel in the gallery. "Mr. Coleman did the right thing that day. He stood up when it mattered, and I should have stood with him from the beginning. I'm sorry it took me time to find my courage." Diesel nodded, a silent acknowledgement between two men who'd been on opposite sides and found common ground in truth. The jury deliberated for 3 hours, guilty on all charges. Officer Bradley Mitchell was sentenced to 8 years in state prison. His pension was revoked. He would be a convicted felon for the rest of his life. The courtroom erupted in applause. The judge allowed it for a moment before calling for order. Outside, Diesel stood with Robert Hayes, who was no longer homeless, no longer invisible. "Justice was served today," Diesel told the media. "Not just for Robert, but for every person who's been abused by those who are supposed to protect them. This is what happens when citizens refuse to look away. When we record. When we speak up. When we stand together." The changes that followed transformed the city. The police department implemented mandatory body cameras and an independent civilian oversight board. 3 other officers with abuse histories were fired following investigations triggered by Mitchell's case. The city allocated $5 million to homeless veteran services, housing, mental health care, job training. Robert Hayes became a spokesperson for the program. The Iron Riders created the Hayes Foundation, dedicated to helping homeless veterans. They organize monthly outreach rides, distributing food, clothing, and information about services. Diesel's arrest record was expunged. The city paid him $50,000 for wrongful arrest. He donated it all to the Hayes Foundation. Robert Hayes, now stable and housed, lives in a small apartment with his service dog, Liberty, a pit bull rescue. He volunteers at the VA hospital, helping other veterans navigate benefits. He's been sober for over a year. Every Saturday, motorcycles still cruise past his apartment. A reminder that he's not forgotten, that he matters, that people care. Officer Harper still serves on the police force, but now he teaches at the academy about ethical policing and the courage it takes to stand up when fellow officers cross the line. He and Diesel have become unlikely friends, proof that doing the right thing matters more than blind loyalty. The photo of Diesel being arrested for documenting truth hangs in the Iron Riders clubhouse. Below it, Marcus Diesel Coleman, arrested for recording injustice, freed by the power of truth, proof that one person with a camera can change the world. Diesel tells Robert's story at every rally, every gathering. Robert Hayes served his country with honor. Then his country forgot him, left him on the streets, let a cop beat him for being poor. When I saw it happening, I had a choice: ride away or pull out my phone. That choice changed everything. Sometimes justice requires a phone camera. Sometimes it requires 300 motorcycles surrounding a police station. Sometimes it requires ordinary people refusing to look away from brutality. Robert Hayes was beaten for being invisible. Then millions saw his story. Then a community rallied to give him the life he deserves. Then a system that protected his abuser was forced to change. Officer Mitchell sits in prison, his career destroyed. Robert Hayes sits in his apartment, safe and supported, his story one of survival and redemption. Sometimes heroes wear leather vests and ride Harleys. Sometimes justice happens because one person says, "This is wrong," and pulls out a camera. Sometimes hundreds of others stand with them. That's what brotherhood means. That's what accountability looks like. If this story moved you, if you believe that standing up for what's right matters, hit that like button. Drop a comment telling us what you thought, especially about Officer Harper finding the courage to do the right thing even when it was hard. And if you want to hear more stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, subscribe to this channel. Because these stories, they need to be told, and they need people like you to share them. Robert Hayes is proof that we're never truly invisible when others choose to see us. Diesel is proof that one person with courage can start a movement. And all of us? We're proof that when we stand together, justice isn't just possible, it's inevitable.